Only review slash preview thing that went up during the whole week was got a preview up for Sherlock Holmes Chapter One, so you can read my written preview up, and of course the link will be in the doobly doo down below for it. I quite enjoyed it. Who got time to play that thing here? Hands up. Or say I. So everyone, very good. All right, cool. Okay, good. So this, for people that don't know, this is Frogware's. They've made a bunch of these Sherlock Holmes games. Crime Punishment was the last one they did before they kind of jumped off and they did The Sinking City, which was a detective game but not a Sherlock Holmes game. That was the one they released a couple of years ago, in which it was like more open world and this sort of stuff, whatever. So now they've come back to Sherlock Holmes with Chapter One, which is a prequel to their Sherlock Holmes universe continuity or whatever you want to call it. And they've kind of taken what they learned from doing The Sinking City and they're combining that back into the Sherlock Holmes franchise. So the demo it took me about 90 minutes to play. I'm sure I didn't do everything you could have. I kind of did the main quest plus the first side quest or whatever. And I think there was a few bits and bobs you could have fucked around with or whatever. And maybe you could have got 2 hours of what was available in the preview access, but that was about it. It's obviously doesn't show you the very start of the game, but it seems like it's the main quest that you do seems to be the actual first main quest, because it basically starts with Sherlock and his friend John. Put a pin in that because we'll
not Watson.
Well, yeah, it's an important thing. He has a friend called John, not John Watson, who's at the hotel with him. So Sherlock, he is like 22, 23, something like that. I think he's like 21, 22, 23, like very young. And he's returning home to, what the fuck is it? I should have highlighted
Cardona.
Cardona, right. So that's the island. He's Cardona. He's returned to this island, which is where he grew up, and he's returning here to bury his mother who's passed away, who you learn a little bit more about that towards the end of the demo, so I like to tease what's happening there. There's more mystery there to be unraveled or whatever. But the first mystery that you actually get to play in this preview is basically like there's some missing diamonds or whatever it was. There's been a murder. Who's telling the truth? Whatever. Like it's a pretty good showcase for what the majority of the game's gameplay elements will be, which is you got like sort of lots of different ways to tackle things. You got a few different abilities under Sherlock where you can sort of like detective vision people, and it'll give you like 3 keywords about them, like or they like this, or like they have a wooden leg, or like some random things that may or may not be notable or whatever. You can at one stage you like detective vision to follow someone's like footprints. If you're investigating a crime scene, you can like sort of zoom in on a table and it'll say like, oh, you've got like the 6 things here to find. You can sort of look at them all. And of course, all these details are jotted down in Sherlock's diary thing or whatever. And he even has a mind palace, because Sherlock always has a mind palace, and you can connect different clues there. Ultimately, at the end of the main case, though, you can accuse someone. Whether you can accuse the wrong person, that was worth pointing out for this.
Could you?
Yeah, you can.
Well,
you
don't know. You don't know if it's the wrong.
Well, yeah,
person.
When you're doing it, you don't know if it's the right or wrong person. But
afterwards, you know.
Without spoiling who it is, because you're not. Embargo says we can't actually say who it is, so I can't even if I wanted to. But I did accuse the right person. However, even when you do accuse the right person, there's 2 different directions you can even take that storyline there. So there's definitely a lot of different sort of branching paths and directions you could take this. And even with the way I seem to solve the case, it seemed like I didn't like find every clue I could have, or like it seems like I could have got to the same place that maybe you did, but I didn't. I could have got there in a different sort of way. So that's sort of cool. Visually, I thought the game was quite good looking. It's still in development. So of course there was a few like people, I saw a couple people wearing the exact same costume and like a couple little visual glitches here and there, but nothing like as a game that's work in progress that scares you away from it type of thing. And I'm pretty excited. Like I really enjoyed this. I've only ever dabbled in these Sherlock Holmes games. I've tried out 1 or 2 of the last. I've tried out Crime Punishment PC for like an hour or so, and I like it. I think I have all of them on PC. I've grabbed them. I was like, I want to play these. Just never get time. So this seems like as good a point as ever to get excited, and I really enjoyed what I played of this. I'm keen for more. Kieran, what are your thoughts on the Sherlock preview?
This game is some good shit. Like I absolutely adored this game. Starting this game was very interesting in terms of the style. I was really like, I think the character that actually sells this the most for me was John, because there is things about John that didn't get explained until a bit later in the demo and they weren't obvious. until unless you read certain things that made that character make sense for me, and it was fucking awesome. Which I think really rounds off when you realize it's not John Watson, and a bit more about his character and explains a bit of his interactions in this whole game. Or
there's definitely a lot that I wish we could discuss about that character, but it's like unfortunately just
I'm like trying to it is like super tiptoey of I don't want to say too much but I think as a whole it was fantastic. I think the best thing, my favorite thing about the clues, I love games that give you lots of grey areas and there's never always an obvious right answer. And this even goes down to even the clues that you're given for the case. Some of the clues can be interpreted in different ways. And it's based on you and your interpretation of it. When you're profiling somebody, it gives you multiple options of what Sherlock has summed up this character as for the evidence. So you could see all the bits of evidence on this character and make like two very different assumptions about the person based off that information. And I really liked that. I like how, based on your viewpoint and your view of the character, is to what you are putting into it, and when you're making these assumptions and making deductions throughout the game. I was really sad when I got the thank you for playing Sherlock Holmes screen, but like Chapter 1 screen. I was like, man, I really wish I could keep playing. I'm so excited for this to get a full release. I believe it's just set for later in 2021 currently. But it is fantastic. I loved Sherlock. The fact that he gets called Sherry by John is amazing. I don't know why, but I really loved it and I adored that kind of relationship those two have. And yeah, this is. I want more of these games. I've always wanted to play the Sherlock Holmes games. I think they've always been a little bit rough around the edges. And maybe that's one thing that has like dissuaded me to playing them and jump into them until now. But even playing this now, I think I might quickly grab those and just start playing through all those at some point. Just because of how much I love this and enjoyed this one.
Ash?
Yeah, I liked it as well. Obviously, it's not AAA. I think that it's fair to say. Obviously, there's obviously there's missing animations and everybody doesn't look beautiful or the level that we've seen a lot of the AAA games, but it does the job. I like the characterization of Sherlock in this. John is interesting. I only got to solve the first murder and then the game crashed for me, and I'm like, it was like autosave could have been improved. Could have been, could have brought me a bit closer to the point in which I was up to.
I'm going to assume that's something that'll be fixed by the full release. So
probably, but yeah, there is a satisfying element to figuring it out and connecting all the clues together, putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, and that kind of thing. And yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Again, this is like one of those games where you're like a series of games that you're like, oh yeah, that would be an interesting game to dabble into. But yeah, this seems like a good starting point for a lot of people to get into these games. So yeah, I'm keen to hopefully check it out when it comes out, whenever that date is. I don't know if we've got a date for release.
It's just 2021.
It's coming to PS5, PS4, all the Xboxes, PC. So you'll be able to play it wherever the hell you want. All of us were playing it on PC though, to clarify.
I did. There was one thing where you sort of make a deduction about a person's character. Like, you get given two different options based on the clues about a person, but I never got the impression whether you're right or wrong.
I think there is, not to go into too much detail, there is, it is like clear.
There's a Lord or whatever.
Yes, well, I think his is more logical deduction for yourself of... There's one of the options explains away a lot of the faults, and one of them just is a very logical answer for everything. And I think it's up to you to make that decision. I think for me, it was very obvious which one was the kind of looking for the best in a bad situation answer, and then looking at the real answer. For me, I guess personally, but I liked that. I like that it's not obvious. It's not obvious that you are. What you're doing if you're doing something right and wrong, and there's a lot of there's a lot of evidence that can go either way. Like, there's a lot of stuff where it's like, wow, this guy's also a bad person. And I think also once you make a decision, you're actually not stuck to that decision in terms of once you're making a decision on somebody to accuse or to deal with. You're not kind of stuck with how you think you're going to deal with them. The only other thing I thought was hilarious was I got lost during one of the sections, like one of the following sections, and I didn't realize you just had to like kind of use your detective vision to keep following a trail. And
I got stuck there for like a minute because I was like, "Where's this trail?" They kept saying like, "Follow the trail." I'm like, "Where is the trail?"
Where is this? Where is this? Like, John just kept being like, "Just focus." And so then I was just walking around trying to talk to people, and then every couple of people I kept talking to, John would write a note in his book with a big thumbs down that was like, "Man, Sherlock just keeps annoying people, talking to them for no reason." I'm like, fucking hell, I feel judged. I'm excited. I don't know if either of you saw the difficulty options for this game. I think
I just left it on.
We were on like Young Detective, which is like
okay.
that's the default one. Is you get all of the, when you look at like an area, it tells you how many clues there are in that area and everything. The next one up is everything stripped away and it doesn't give you as much help. And then there's one in setting called Mycroft, which is like completely custom, so you choose what tips and stuff you get or what hints and stuff you get.
Got to be honest, I was quite happy to play it the way Will's already played it.
Yes, also, yes, yeah.
It's like, unless you can, I would love to see I feel like this would be the perfect game to bring back like the hardcore technology and stuff they tried to do with LA Noire, you know, like, because it's crazy to think that was the PS3 generation game where they're like, we're going to make a game where deductions are entirely based on having good facial capture, and it's up to you to sort of deduct how people are, you know, that sort of stuff. Like, it was a really cool idea, and I played through that game down at my friend's place. We kind of like just took turns and whatever else. Like, the overall gameplay of that game, I thought was kind of very meh, but like the concept and the characters and story and all that sort of stuff. So it's like, well, if you gave Frogwares more money and like they potentially went for, you know, hardcore facial capture on a next generation technology and I don't know, like maybe that's the next game, I guess, but that could be.
I'd really like Xbox to give Frogware a bunch of money and be like, hey, come on Game Pass as well, and we will fund you some more and give you more of a boost and stuff like that. And this game would be really good for that. And just a minor point on LA Noire, man, that game would have been amazing if they just cut all of the game out of the middle of it and just gave all that kind of stuff. Just cut that out and just give me the conversations and the detective work, and that would have been amazing. That would have, better.
No, but they need to prepare you for the car chases.
No, I think I hated it.
Nope. No, thank you. Don't need that. It's like when we did the Last of Us review where Dylan and me were like, man, they really thought parts of this game needed to just, you know, have game in it. And we were like, man, this game had less game sometimes.
Yeah. It's a weird thing. Where you're like, I wish I was playing this less, or like something. I wish I was playing something else that was different gameplay wise. But yeah, my last note on this I was going to say is like, I've been trying to not this walking around the island, the city itself, whatever you want to call it. I think it's really cool design. There's like different types of, I guess, cultures and people there, which I thought adds a unique aspect to it.
I think it's different when most these games you're walking around Victorian London. And I think
this is set in 18 whatever, but it's like it doesn't. Yes. It feels like it's set in like a fantastical version because it's just like so many different types of people around and stuff like that. It's just very and the other thing, like without talking too much about John because we can't, but like I'm really interested to know where that goes for stuff for reasons we can't talk about that are shown in the demo, but also just because you can tell he's going to be a huge aspect of the game because you have all these little sort of mini, like there's even that side quest where at the start of the game he makes that bet on if you'll be able to deduct who this cane belongs to on the first try, and then if you do it makes a note on like John's relationship with you. It's like you won that bet, and like I know there's going to be a bunch of other stuff like that throughout the game where they'll affect your relationship with John. Like if
how much John is, I get the feeling that John is your Sherlock meter in many ways of like, if you're Sherlock by true in nature where you're getting everything right and you're making the right deductions and you're doing things, then John will be very positive towards you. If you are blithering around and making lots of mistakes and talking to people that you don't need to talk to over and over and over again, you won't be that Sherlocky, and John will be a little bit more down. I don't know how that changes his interactions with you, because I didn't see that effect happen at all in the small part we got to play. But at the same time, I think it's really interesting and very cool. And also, just a minor point, I thought the costume section was really fun.
You're going to have a bunch of different costumes that apparently Sherlock can change into throughout the game for different reasons and stuff. So
even to the point of like an old man makeup that just looks like an old man's face. It doesn't actually look like makeup. It's like, man, just change into anything.